Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here at the start of another Kit Quest Manager Career Mode, we are in FC24 playing as Burnley. So that's kind of the introductory video. We're going to just hit the player of focus and the kind of board goals and whatnot. So in terms of player of focus, go to the squad hub and go, actually it's a good question what position he'll be listed at. Right midfielder, maybe? No, clearly not. Left midfielder? There he is. So we're going with Wilson Odobert, kind of the dribbly boy that Ange's system seems to be needing. After his kind of recent appearances, been kind of looking like that dribbly winger we need for Spurs. So we're kind of doing a Burnley one just because it's going to be easier to do a long-term one there with with an English club. Because the site I use to really do the last 5 matchups is has information for English clubs, so it just makes it easier to do a long-term one with like a team that's not so hot. Because Burnley obviously got relegated after this season, and then Company went on to some fail upwards and moved to Bayern Munich somehow, but neither here nor there. That's it. But yeah, so Odobert is the player focus in terms of kind of the reasoning behind that is kind of, if you probably noticed, the like our manager or whatever this one is Martha, and I would do like a number 30 player one, but the only player who's worn 30 for Spurs in recent times is Rodrigo Bentancur. And after his suspension, like 7-match ban earlier in the season, and what the ban was for, don't feel quite comfortable yet kind of getting a kit with his name and number on it. So kind of went with a more thematic approach and kind of Martha's big kind of thing that made like legend or whatever that makes her a kind of servant of Geo is kind of the whole Tarrasque thingamajig, which happened in France. So kind of went with a French player in that sense. So that's potentially considering doing an Estac Troyes kind of one instead, but just because of the whole like both teams are not very good and trying to make it a longer term thing, it's going to be a lot easier to do that with the Burnley one rather than a Troyes one. And getting the kit should also just be a lot easier because it's a more recent season. And like Burnley kits, I think were kind of made a lot in the U.S. market here because like they're kind of partial American ownership and whatnot. So yeah, so it should be an easier one for me all around in that sense. That should still be fun because it's going to be more of a rebuilding one. We're going to have to try and push up. And hopefully we can like snag a trophy because this is like a relatively smaller club who got relegated. Our goal is going to be to win like a trophy of any kind. So that could be Carabao Cup, FA Cup, so Premier League, Europe, anything like that. But we'll see. It's going to be probably a longer term one, many seasons to it, just because of the nature of the fact that Burnley got relegated and whatnot. So that'll be kind of interesting. But yes, Wilson Odobert is the player of focus. And then kind of in terms of, as I was kind of just saying, they're his kind of the teams that we're going to be kind of pulling from in terms of our transfer kind of stuff. If I just pull up his Wikipedia page here, we have kind of 3 clubs basically. We have played for Troyes in 22-23 season, so players from there. And obviously Burnley, kind of that's what he is here, so it's kind of relevant in that sense. And then Spurs, so we have Troyes kind of and Spurs as club areas in terms of where to get players from to kind of strengthen the squad. And then the other thing kind of is, as I typically do it, is like the 6 kind of bring that up, kind of the 6 rules of squad building. Obviously, is keep the focus player, so Wilson Odobert, the 4 club trained and 4 homegrown numbers. That's kind of whatever. That's kind of in terms of I'll go through the squad and whatnot and figure who is what. And then homegrown also, if I get like English players from Spurs, that'll kind of make that there. And then that kind of then as the 4th one is to keep kind of bring in players who played at the clubs the focus player played at. So that's Troyes and Spurs. And then the 5th one is like the same nation as our kind of FGO manager here, which is Martha. And then this is kind of being an interesting one where I'm probably gonna end up doing like a double kind of thing here because obviously in terms of like historically where St. Martha was from is kind of obviously the current political, socio-political, like political landscape of the region kind of makes the actual like modern day answer like more complex. But in terms of like back in the like first century common CE, that was like obviously kind of quote unquote like Israel, like Roman Judea. So kind of her manager nation is Israel for that. So a player like Manor Salmon might be someone I bring in because he kind of fits the Spurs and the kind of that there. But the other one, obviously, as I said, we're doing Odobert as player focus because he's a young French player. And kind of Martha made her kind of a legend that made her like an FGO servant, kind of famous kind of figure in that sense in France. So it's going to be a dual thing there where like obviously she's like so French players and Israeli plus like kind of a good mix. So it might be picking up young like French players from the French league and kind of bring them over, which is kind of what company did with Odobert. So kind of keep it going with that. And the last one is obviously is board objective players if they kind of fit within like what we're trying to do. But yes, that's kind of that in terms of introducing the player focus and all that stuff, and like why he's the player for this kit quest. And the last thing kind of to touch on in this initial video is kind of quickly just checking out the board objectives and whatnot. So let's peep them here. Most of them are pretty low, I guess because of the low expectations Burnley has. They got relegated, so youth development, that one's not happening because it's like youth academy stuff, which I don't do. Brand exposure get 5 wins in away matches this season. Let's pull up uh, Burnley's stats. Did they get 5 away wins in the Premier League? I feel like the answer is probably no, just because they did get relegated. They had 5 wins all season, so that's a no. That's clearly a no, because I'm pretty sure some of their wins were at home. Yeah, yes, that one's going to be a tough one because of just the fact that they literally only won 5 matches all season. So Sim Engine will have to be kind to us, give us some W's for that to be a thing. Financial one, reduce player wages by £125,000 a week. Shouldn't be too hard, considering they had like a squad of 45 for like a basically like a low tier Premier League, high tier Championship club, which is really only playing like in the league and the domestic cups, like not really doing 2 matches a week all that often. So that should be easy enough to fix there. Domestic success, finish mid-table. That's funny. We will try our best here, but considering they literally won 5 matches all season, I doubt that's going to happen, but we'll see. And the FA Cup, they went the round of 16, which is kind of bold because I'm pretty sure they got knocked out in, unless is that what round 4 technically is? Because they got knocked out by Spurs in they entered the 3rd round, so that's not round of 16. So that's going to be hard too. And then continental success obviously was not a thing, so that's not going to help either. So our board objective is going to be very kind of iffy. So hopefully we kind of survive this first season, because I'm assuming we're probably going to get relegated or barely miss relegation. So kind of miss a lot of the board objectives in that sense. But yeah, so that's kind of it. We hit on the player focus and whatnot, and the board goals and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's kind of it for this introductory video. So kind of set expectations for this season pretty low because Burnley got relegated. So I'm probably assuming that's kind of going to be around about where we end up. That's because I do like a lot of simulation for matches that team loses. So that's going to be a lot of simulation and some kind of low simming draw stuff. Because how many draws did they even have? So they had a pretty low points total. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they had 9 draws. That's not bad, I guess. But yeah, so it's going to be a lot of simulating. So this first season should go back pretty quickly. But we'll see. Kind of assuming we're going to get relegated or barely escape. But if not, we actually can hit mid-table. That'll be cool, but I highly doubt it. So yeah, kind of is what it is in that sense. But yeah, so that's kind of it for this introductory video. So the next episode will be the 23-24 season recap, or hopefully we don't get relegated. But very likely that we will. So thank you for watching this introduction. Hopefully you check out that next episode as well. Thank you.